You're all set.
Okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of clothing and 15 pieces of food. Okay, so that's going to mark another coordinate on our PPF. Okay, so from looking at this, do we have a linear PPF on our hands?
No.
No, we already know that we do not have a linear PPF, and we'll talk about some reasons after we finish the last round about why our PPF is nonlinear, okay? Good.
Sorry, it's not shutting off.
It's not, is it because it's really low on battery?
I don't know.
Let's just spread it out a little bit.
All right, guys, so for the last round, you're going to produce 4 pieces of food and the rest clothing. Okay, so in your 30-second interval, 4 pieces of food, the rest clothing. All right, any discussions need to take place, or are you ready to go?
We're all set.
All right, you're prepared. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so it looks like instead of specializing in individual tasks, which maybe felt more inefficient and passing them down, everyone's doing their own goals. Has Ruben designated as the best food producer? He's got his 4 done. 9 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Nice. All right, good job, guys.
Yeah, it's still there.
Good, 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 good. All right, so we have the 4 pieces of food, right?
Yep.
Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 pieces of clothing.
Go.
All right, so in this particular round, we had 4 pieces of food, okay? And we had 18, right? So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 pieces of clothing, okay? So how can we rationalize that? You can cut this.
Cut. Go.
Okay, so we have the final point on our PPF as 18.4, okay? So when you were in the full production of clothing alone, you were only able to produce 8 pieces of clothing. Now that you have a dual economy, right? You have 2 goods being produced, 4 pieces of clothing, or 4 pieces of food and some units of clothing, you're now able to produce 18. So would that make sense in our model?
No.
No. What would it say about this initial? Was that efficient?
No.
No. So what was going on? Were you guys shirking? Right? Were you not trying as hard as you could?
Testing the market, I guess, testing the labor.
Testing labor. What else could have happened? What evolved over here? What did you guys do? Did you behave exactly the same way in round 1 as you did in round 4?
No.
What changed?
Each individual was folding their own, or maybe we didn't specialize in anything.
Yeah, so you had like a different division of
Also
labor.
learn from like our mistakes.
Yeah, that idea of learning by doing. To think you're going to be as good the first time you do something as you're going to be the 2nd or 10th time that you do something is not practical, right? So built into the simulation, we see that growth can come, or the unattainable can be attained if you learn by doing, right? So we'll learn about that later in the semester when we talk about returns to scale. But for now, that's one way that we could talk about experiencing economic growth. Okay, you can pause that. So what are some other ways that we can make this process more efficient? So what are some other means to achieve higher production as we did with learning by doing from the 1st to the 4th round?
Well, you could probably grab more than a single piece of paper and turn it into more food or clothing, because if you had the strength to make 5 or 6 pieces of paper into 5 or 6 pieces of clothes at once, it would multiply it and exponentially make it.
So what would that look like? Grab some paper. Show me what that would look like.
All right, so I got like probably 5 or 6. I would just fold it in half, and then I would fold it in half again, and then I'd fold it in half one more time, if I can do that.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like, what, 20 pieces of paper right there.
Good. So that would be like an advancement in technology
Yeah.
that would enable economic growth. So things that were previously not feasible would become feasible.
Yeah.
Other ideas? What did you guys identify about certain workers as you progressed?
Well, he was really good at folding food.
Yeah, so Ruben was specialized in a particular task. He had a more efficient diagonal fold, so he was able to do that. Any other ideas? What else could help us produce more stuff? Even thinking if we're not constrained by what's in this room, what else could we do if we wanted to mass produce these clothing and food pieces?
Make a machine that folds it for you.
Yeah, automate part of the process. Yeah.
Add more employees.
Add more employees, add more people. Yeah, and you think you could benefit? Do you have enough tasks, or would you have suffered from diminishing returns?
Well, depends where our plant was. Like in this room, you could fit probably 10 people, but
Yeah, so we could double the labor force. Good, good.
Right.
Even though we assume in the PPF that we have full employment, we could have, a higher population, right? So higher birth rate. We could have migration patterns, give us a larger labor force, right?
Yeah.
Any other ideas?
get a bigger jar.
A bigger jar. Good, good.
Or
So we could,
multiple,
we could bend, multiple.
So
maybe
you're
put them on
full
either
every
end.
time,
Yeah.
I guess.
Way to push it down at the end.
that good.
We're just pro folders in this.
Perfect. Good job, guys.